Today is Friday, June 19th. Welcome to this edition of Nevada County Now. Today's episode, we're talking a COVID spike, face mask requirements, social media, and more. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Nevada County Now. I'm your host, Cole Pettit. Our top story tonight, Nevada County is experiencing a spike in COVID-19 cases this week. On last week's show, we reported 52 total cases with just 3 active. The time of recording today, there were a total of 71 confirmed cases with 19 active cases. Last week, Eastern Nevada County had 40 total cases and Western Nevada County had 12. At the moment, Eastern Nevada County sits at 51 and Western Nevada County is at 20. On the county's website, it does not break down the current location of active cases. They list a total of 4,286 tests performed, an increase of 471 tests performed this week. This is on par with the amount of tests performed in previous weeks, as last week saw an increase of 469 tests, and the week before that, 489 tests were performed. Let's hear from Dr. Ken Cutler, Nevada County's health officer, with regard to these new cases.
Hi, Ken Cutler, your Nevada County Public Health Officer. It's now June 18th. I wanted to give you a few updates. One is that there's been a concerning rise in the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in our community, both on the eastern side and also now on the western side. And when we do case investigation, so once somebody has a positive test, we call them, we try to figure out where they might have been exposed, who they've been around, those type of things, who their contacts are, so we can get them into quarantine and into testing. What we're finding is that people are starting to congregate more together outside of their household without the 6-foot distancing and often without facial covering. So just a reminder, it's one of the things we've been talking about is getting back to basics. So if you do leave your household, please cover your face if you're able. Maintain that distance even with good friends or family outside your household. And that will really, I think, help us decrease some of the transmission that we're starting to see. Just a few hours ago, the state indicated a new guidance and mandate for facial coverings outside your household. So I encourage you to go to covid19.ca.gov to look at the details. Just want to add that we have been strongly encouraging locally that people use the face coverings in addition to other steps, not as a substitute for. So please continue to maintain that physical distancing, go out for essential services, wash those hands regularly, disinfect surfaces, stay home if you're sick. And so the facial coverings is now, again, in addition to that. And for details, please check the state website.
While we have experienced a surge here, we're not alone. Much of California has also seen a continued increase in daily cases. This has prompted California officials to mandate the use of cloth face coverings by the general public when outside the home. In the guidance document released by the California Department of Public Health, it says people in California must wear face coverings when they are in high-risk situations. Some examples of these include inside of or in line to enter any indoor public space, waiting for or riding on public transportation or paratransit, or while working if interacting in person with any member of the public, or in a working space visited by members of the public, regardless of whether anyone from the public is present at the time. There are some exceptions to this new rule. For example, for persons aged 2 years or under are not required to wear masks. Persons with a medical condition, mental health condition, or disability that prevents wearing a face covering, or persons for whom wearing a face covering would create a risk to the person related to their work. The state has left the enforcement of this new mandate up to individual counties. Since the mandate was made yesterday, an official statement from our county has not been yet prepared. However, County Public Information Officer Taylor Wolf indicated that the likely approach would involve a more education focus rather than specific punitive measures. A statement from the Sacramento County Sheriff Department seems to echo this approach and reads in part, "The Sheriff's Office recommends that everyone continue exercising safe practices, including wearing masks pursuant to the governor's recommendation, especially around those in high-risk groups." However, due to the minor nature of the offense, the potential for negative outcomes during enforcement encounters, and anticipating the various ways in which the order may be violated, it would be inappropriate for deputies to criminally enforce the governor's mandate. Accordingly, the Sheriff's Office will not be doing so. Rather, we will continue to operate in an educational capacity in partnership with the County Health Office. Both the state and county public health department continue to advise the use of multiple mitigation practices in addition to the face covering requirement. Specifically, that you continue to practice physical distancing and wash your hands or use hand sanitizer frequently. Avoid gatherings, especially with people from outside your home, and don't go out if you're feeling sick. Testing continues to be easily available at both OptumServe sites. Drive-through testing is available at the Grass Valley Veterans Memorial Building. As of June 8th, the Tahoe Truckee testing site has moved from Kings Beach to Truckee and is now located at 10990 Donner Pass Road. Anyone can get tested regardless of symptoms, profession, or insurance. While your insurance may be billed if you have it, there are no out-of-pocket costs. Set up your appointment at lhi.care/COVID testing or call 888-634-1123. Last week, Gold Country Senior Services announced the acquisition of a building with plans to develop a new senior center for our community. I sat down with the Executive Director, Janeth Mariletti, to discuss this new exciting development. So I'm joined today by Janeth Mariletti. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And so you're the Executive Director of formerly Gold Country Community Services, now Gold Country Senior Services, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what prompted the name change?
So our focus has been supporting seniors' health and wellness in our community, and we've been only focusing since the agency was founded 40 years ago on senior related, that it was very fitting to have the word senior in our name to really emphasize that mission.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. And so you do the Senior Firewood program as
Yes.
well as Meals on Wheels, and you also organize events and whatnot. Is that the case?
We do classes and activities. We did our first senior health and wellness fair last year, and it was very well attended. And we also have a dining room program where the seniors prior to COVID, they would come into an apartment building, and we have the dining room donated to us by the apartment manager where the seniors could come and get a meal.
Gotcha.
So
Very
we're a
cool.
nutrition provider.
Okay. And so now you're going to be opening a new senior center here pretty soon.
Yes.
And you're going to be incorporating everything into that new place, so it's all sort of a one-stop shop for all the stuff that you're doing?
Absolutely. Really, we want to give the seniors a place where they can go and not only get their nutritionally met, but also socialize, have access to resources out in the community, but really know that they have their place where they can have a meal, coffee, resources, that hub for them. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah. So what made you think that it really needed to be all in one place? Was it just kind of not working with it kind of being separated in multiple places? You just felt like it needed to be all in one place?
So to not have a senior center in a community where there's a large senior population is already a big deal. The senior center is not just a place, a facility, is where seniors get usually their meals, access to resources, socialize, and that was missing. And here in our community, we have more and more older adult population than really we rank the 4th largest in California. So the fact that we didn't have a senior center, the need was only going to keep growing as opposed to slowing down. We already provide 45,000 meals a year to seniors, and the need probably double, if not triple, of just how many seniors are in need of food. So the senior center is going to be that first step for us to bring all those services together, but really address the biggest issue, which is food insecurity among vulnerable seniors that cannot get out of their home.
Gotcha. Okay. And so the new location is at the building formerly Summertimes?
Yes.
Over, is that Henderson Avenue, I believe?
It's Colfax.
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 Okay, that's right.
Very centrally located. There's a bus stop there. It has a huge kitchen, and we're thrilled at the possibility that we can, increase our capacity to provide more meals for seniors in need.
Okay. Gotcha. And what does the time frame look like on that in terms of actually being able to open it? I know it's everything going on with COVID right now and whatnot that kind of complicates things, but do you have a
We're saying I'm saying the end of the year,
Okay.
just because there's so many things that are going to go into a factor, getting the loan from the USDA, working on how do we convert the inside and make some minor modifications, and really how do we present a senior center to what is going to meet the need of the community, seniors. So we got to talk with our advisors that can give us some ideas of what are some of those needs. I know that in our community we have a great need for education, for caregiving. We have many seniors that their caregivers, especially with this COVID-19, have been taking care of the seniors, and we need to help support those caregivers. So really it's going to be coming together with the community and figuring out what those programs and activities of that senior center are going to be so we can open as soon as we can.
Is there anything else that you think people should know or you'd like to tell people about either any of your programs or about the senior center or anything else?
So for Gold Country Senior Services, what we've been doing is supporting the health and wellness of seniors. So that is where Meals on Wheels, these are for the seniors that have no other resource for food, and we're delivering meals to them with a group of dedicated volunteers that some of them have been volunteering with us for like 25 years, and they still come every week to deliver their meals. Also to our firewood program, as a rural community, that's something that I don't think a lot of cities think about, that we have in our community seniors that can no longer split their wood and they need firewood. So how do we bring that awareness that list is growing and growing, but not only for the seniors that need the firewood, but from all these families and other seniors that cannot pay a tree company to remove the tree, and they need it because then it puts all of us at risk for fire. So really that the impact at the level of the community, it really comes with all of us working together. If it wasn't for the volunteers at the firewood program, we wouldn't have a program, right? Because, I don't know how to split wood. I don't know. I would not even have any idea, know that anybody would want to give me the chainsaw for me to do it, right? And it's really this group of volunteers that have made it their mission to make sure that our seniors are not cold in the winter. So how do we help them, and bring that awareness? And also the fact that up to this point, it's been 10 years since we had a senior center in our community, and the time has come to change that. Yeah, so we're thrilled, and we hope this senior center is not only going to be for seniors, but bringing together a connection between youth and our elderly population.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, so we're pretty thrilled and excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me, you guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Janeth. In other news, the Nevada County Relief Fund has opened applications for a second round. Applications are due Wednesday, June 24th by 5 p.m. The fund has currently raised over $360,000 with a goal of raising $500,000 by July 4th. To apply or donate to the fund, visit nevcorelief.org. The Center for the Arts has entered its first phase of reopening with limited capacity open gallery events that offer the public a chance to enjoy the current art exhibits, as well as the new bar for an artful happy hour. The bar and gallery are open Thursdays and Fridays from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. throughout the summer. The Center for the Arts is currently limiting their capacity to 35 visitors at a time for proper social distancing. Masks are required to be worn when inside the center, and patrons are asked to please maintain a distance of 6 feet from other patrons when entering the building and throughout the gallery and bar areas. Visit thecenterforthearts.org for more information. Social media's role in our lives has continued to increase over the last few years. It can be both a great way to bring people together, and yet at times can be incredibly divisive. Sonora Slater has delved into both sides of this issue in her latest piece. Let's take a look.
Thanks, Cole. We've probably all experienced how social media has transformed many, if not all, aspects of our lives in the modern age, from teenagers such as myself scoffing at the idea of a voice call rather than a video call, to our first thought when we get together with our extended families being to take an Instagram picture together. But most will agree that for every incredible communicative tool it lends, an important issue it raises awareness for, it simultaneously fosters instant judgment, the spread of false information, and virtue signaling. Following the series of unfortunate events that has defined 2020 so far, we've seen what a big role social media can play in not just frivolous, but also serious issues. But the question stands, is it playing that role well? In recent weeks, the Black Lives Matter movement has taken over Instagram, flooding every one of our feeds with teenagers, adults, businesses, corporations, and celebrities such as Chris Pratt, Emma Watson, Will Smith, and many more, taking a stance against police brutality and racism. Influencers have added swipe-up links in their stories that lead to automatic email templates to send to politicians and law enforcement, petitions to enact new standards of behavior for police agencies, and YouTube videos full of ads that have been set up to donate funds to social organizations as they're streamed, created for those who wish to donate but don't have the financial resources to do so. Journalists, librarians, and others have curated lists of books, documentaries, TED Talks, podcasts, and articles to self-educate about the history of people of color in America. And spreadsheets of Black-owned businesses to buy various products from have been widely circulated. While California is known for its diversity, Nevada County isn't a particularly racially diverse area. However, in the age of the internet, anyone here who wants to can have access to information about cultures we may not typically interact with, and perspectives we don't always hear represented. Civilians are becoming unofficial journalists, recording photos and videos of protests, and sharing them through social media, alongside advice for how to stay safe if protests get violent, and when and where upcoming protests or marches will occur. These are all incredible and relatively new tools that have had a positive impact on the way movements grow and achieve change. In the recent past, campaigns such as the #MeToo movement and the push to end school shootings found a voice in social media, resulting in participation from people nationwide, including in our local community. But of course, social media also has a dark side. Well-made graphics and viral statistics can easily mask false information that can be hard for us to weed out from the truth. And social media algorithms built to show us what we want to see can funnel selective information and news onto our feed, while simultaneously omitting a significant portion of the whole story. It's easier for us to unfollow those we disagree with, or ask those we disagree with to unfollow us, than to allow disagreements to lead to discussion, debate, realization of shared commonalities, and potentially changed minds. Short and catchy phrases trend easily on social media, but often a complex issue can't be summarized well in a 5-word phrase, and generalizations occur. None of us would be surprised if we opened up an Instagram comment section or a Twitter thread to see multiple full-blown debates. And while it's great that important conversations are happening, these forums are limited by length restrictions, and often represent spur-of-the-moment responses. If you've ever sent a text to your technology-challenged grandma and had her completely misinterpret it, you know that without body language and voice inflection, messages can translate incorrectly online. And if you've texted someone during quarantine something you would have never said to them otherwise, just because you know that you won't have to actually see them for weeks or even months, You know that people type things online without thinking it through in the way they might if they were saying it to a person's face. Instant judgment is a defining trait of social media, which is why performative activism has become a source of controversy. Performative activism, also known as virtue signaling, is posting something related to whatever social movement is currently trending in order to signal to the world that you care about the issue at hand. A recent example of this was the Black Tuesday trend, a day on which social media was flooded with simple, empty black squares. The intent behind this was good. It was meant to be a source of unity, a way for people to show solidarity and support for the Black community. However, people soon pointed out that if posting a black square was all you did, it had more of an aesthetic effect than a real one. Many suggested that instead we should utilize the internet in other ways, by researching and signing petitions, learning about the varied facets of the problem at hand and proposed solutions by reading an article, or simply having a discussion with someone you know. Performative activism has been called by some pics where it didn't happen approach, because social media can make it appear that it's more important to inform the world that you care than to actually care. The internet centers around trends, consisting of anything from hydro flasks to quarantine Instagram bingo games. Trends are innately short-lived. In contrast, the people who face social discrimination face it every day. The reality of social change is a long-term war, but the battle that social media fights often only lasts a week. Social movements are numerous, from the fight against racism to the fight against sexism, to the fight to preserve the environment, to many more. Social media shows snapshots of what people close by us and far away are doing to make change in a variety of ways, based on whatever one of those movements is currently trending. And it can be a powerful tool to help in a good way. But sustained commitment to local, national, and global improvements was never meant to be lived out through a retweet of a protester's witty sign. It was meant to be lived out by us in real day-to-day life. As long as we're aware of the social media content we consume and diligent about researching information for ourselves, we can utilize what it has to offer. That's why Nevada County Now will soon be launching a new segment that provides background information and context for social media platforms that may be providing you with a portion of your news. Be on the lookout for that in coming weeks. But for now, back to you, Cole.
Great job, Sonora. Sierra Harvest Food Love Farm Stand is now open on Tuesdays from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at 16200 Lake Vero Purdon Road, Nevada City. Shop for veggies, fruits, and flowers at this educational farm. In addition to the farm stand, they also run the Food Love Farm Camp, where kids will learn about food, farming, and the environment through engaging farm activities. Camp is for kids age 6 to 11, with the choice of 2 dates, either July 13th through 17th or July 20th through 24th, and runs from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. For more information, visit sierraharvest.org. We'll leave you tonight with a video from Sierra Harvest showing off the Food Love Farm Camp. Remember, stay safe, take care of each other. We'll see you next week.
I'm Tricia with Peaceful Valley Farm and Garden Supply, and I'm here at the Sierra Harvest Food Love Project Summer Camp. The kids are going to have a farmer's market.